Hello fellow YouTubers, my name's Neil. Welcome. Today's video I'm making a light to go over the top of my monitors. I spent a little bit of time trying to get my monitor system set up here. They're not balanced as yet, but as I'm trying to do a little bit of editing, this is what I'm left with at the moment currently, because my aging Mac Pro tower has finally bitten the dust. So I've reverted to editing on my Mac Mini 2012. And it seems to be running okay. Speakers are barely holding together with the gaffer tape, as you can see. But I wanted a light over the top of here, mainly to be able to see the keyboard, because when I turn the overhead lights off, it gets a little bit dark in here, and I want to cover the window to the right of the monitor. So what I've come up with, I've picked up a strip of LED lights. A bit hard to see, but there they are. It's just enough to go the width of the two monitors, right the way across the top there. So I've tried it up there, it works. It's what I really like, it's nice. What I found here is the offcut of a IKEA door, which is hollow, as you can see by the cardboard strips in the middle. So what I'm going to do is cut one of these down the width wise, so it's a bit shallower. I'm going to dig out all the cardboard in the center, and I'm going to put the LED strip in it. Eventually the narrow version will go up on top up here, so there'll be just casting light straight down and nowhere else. So that's what I'm about to do. I've got a piece of wood outside. I'm going to start cutting it all up. I'll use a track saw and we'll see how we go. So to see how the camera handles the light outside. As you can see, I've marked it up which side I'm cutting, which side I want to keep. So we'll get into it. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I've finished, I've trimmed it down. That's what it looks like now with the gap. All the cardboard's gone, that's sort of width. The only issue I had was, after I cut it, I noticed it's doing that. So the glue's obviously let go. So a little bit of PVA in there and a couple of small nails should fix that. I also noticed too that with this really slippery surface that this is on, the rubber on the bottom of the track was starting to wander as I was pushing the saw. So I had to adjust it. You might have noticed it in the video as I was cutting it, but hey, looks fine. It'll do the job. So I'm going to shoot a little bit of PVA in there. With my dust. Got this little bottle here. Just dribble a little bit in there. Hopefully it all, yeah, it's still got some in it. It hasn't dried up completely. Yeah. Okay, that should do that. There, it's dribbling everywhere, as it does. I'm going to get this box open. So in here I have a stapler, and the stapler actually fires small nails, which don't want to go in all the way, but that's fine at the moment, because we can always pull them out later or bang them in further. Okay, we're getting there. Right, that'll do us. So we'll give that about half an hour or so for it to dry up, and we might either tap those nails in, which we could do. In fact I will. I'll grab myself a small hammer, just step around the tripod. metal filing cabinet with way too many hammers in it. And of course I want the smallest one, and that was at the bottom. It's always the case. Yep, that'll do. That's it. So they're all in now. Oh, this one. That's better. Okay. So we're going to give that a little bit of time to dry off a bit, maybe 10 minutes, half an hour. And we're going to get the LED strip lights, and we're going to start trying to glue them in. So we'll have to lay it all out, I suspect, make sure it all works, and I'll get a knife there and run down the inside and clean up all the leftover glue from the cardboard. So we'll get into that next. Grab a knife from somewhere. And of course I don't remember where I had the last knife, so let's go and have a look in the utility knife drawer and see if there is actually anything in there. Otherwise it's a chisel. Guess what we're doing? Because who remembers where I last left the knife? So it's chisel time. I know where the chisels are, at least. Something with a bit of an edge would be kind of nice. Something that's been sharpened on the grinder by the looks of it. I mean hand grinder, the bench grinder. That'll do us. So it's got a nice butchered edge to it, but at least it's reasonably sharp. Okay, moving along nicely. All those big lumpy bits. It's cardboard and glue. And that's not too bad, I think. Okay. So that's what we've got now. It's a little bit cleaner. We can see all the way to the bottom. It's just leftover stuff. So get all that out. Right, so the next thing I think we need to do is get the hot glue gun up and warming, and then we'll be able to glue this strip of lights in there. We might even check to see if it actually fits in there. So we'll give it a second. I'm going to quickly stop you and I'll go and check everything. I'll be back. Right, as you can see now, we've got it all cleaned up. It's all ready to go. I've started to heat up the heat gun. Well, I think we're just about ready. I'm going to put a couple of little dobs here in the corner, and I'm going to put the first of the cable in. Just turn it a bit sideways so I can get it in there. Okay, I'll use you to, there we go. So once we get the first of it in, I'm going to just start putting little blobs of glue in there so I can stick it down. Might even put just a little bit either side of the corners. We'll put a little bit of glue around about where the joint is. Get the water bottle out of the way. I'll let that dry for a bit, and then we might move you across a little bit further so you can see what's going on. Okay. Seems to be working okay, so we're just going to drag you across. Give me your glue gun. I'll have to put the glue stick into this thing. I'll have to find something else to hold you down with. If anyone's interested where I got this these strips from, there was a pack of 4. They were from Bunnings. If you're in Australia like I am, you'll know what Bunnings is. Shouldn't give you them a free plug, but I think we all buy stuff from Bunnings around here. Okay. Now we might lift the very end up that I haven't stuck down, but it's fallen in. Before we do that, I'm going to put a couple of globs of the old hot glue, technical name there, globs. Okay. Well, she's in. We've got hot glue everywhere. Just unplug the hot glue gun. Come on, come out you. Right, we'll move that out of the way. Now, where are we? So, she still works, see? That's good to see. The next will be trying to work out how to mount this little thing as best as possible. Don't know whether we'll put a couple of strips of wood on the side so we can mount it that way, maybe a couple of globs of hot glue. We'll have to be careful how far down we mount it so it doesn't come into our field of view, but we'll work all that out. So I'm going to cut you there, and we'll get back to you in a couple of minutes. And you don't want to cut. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. I found a piece of MDF. I've just cut it down to size roughly. It's not 100%, but it'll do the job, I reckon. So I'm going to glue this like that. And having thought about it, I can see a mistake already. That would be disastrous because that would be on the front of it. We might want to glue it on the back, I think. Get the cable out of the way. So we want this because this is the back. So we're going to glue it something like that with a bit of hot glue. We're going to go with the hot glue because we've got it. Don't have to put nails in it. I don't think it's going to be a big weight draw on it. Hopefully it's still sticking by the time we get to the end. Bambos, by the sounds of it. We live close to a hospital. That's why you're hearing them. Close enough that I can walk to the hospital, and I can tell you I've done that a couple of times already. Oh, she's sticking there reasonably well now. Okay, so that's what we're going to do like that at the moment. We're just going to stick it all down like that, and hopefully that all works. And I'll bring you back when I've got it out of the clamps in a couple of minutes, and we'll try sticking it over the top. You've got to remember, all this is just temporary. This editing facilities area that I have here is not permanent. This is only a temporary solution. This whole room is going to be gutted, reorganized, and I'm going to build a purpose-built little room just to edit in, which will be, and whoa, turn you around for a moment. It'll eventually be over in that corner. So I'm trying to work a few things out but it should be in the vicinity of around about 2.5 to 3 meters long, and roughly the depth of one of these racks, which is, they're 1800, so 2.5 by 1.8 to the ceiling basically. Maybe not quite, because we've got a sloping roof, so we might go to the lowest point and use the rest as storage. So all that's got to be built yet, and that'll make life a little bit easier. You can see that I've got a lot of stuff here. All this equipment, all the tools are going to be moved out of here, and they're going to be moved into what is currently the carport, which will become the workshop. That has to be enclosed on 2 sides at the moment. So once we've done that, then we can start moving all of these goodies down there. So we've got a lot of stuff to move, but we've got a lot of things to do in the meantime. So I'm going to cut you right there, and we'll come back in a sec. So here we are. The light is up there. It's just being held on with a bit of hot glue. There's nothing special to it. I'm not overly fussed about how long it lasts. I can always glue it back up. So this is it now without the light on. If I reach over and switch the light on, you'll see the difference, hopefully. You can now see that the amount of light we get down there, it's not on the screen. So that's a nice way of doing things. And what did it cost me? Whatever the strip of lights. So rather than lighting the back of the wall, which I see a lot of YouTubers doing, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's nice to be able to see what you're doing here on the keyboard, where you're putting your fingers, etc. That sort of stuff. As you can see, it's a total mess. There's a 2 terabyte hard drive there hooked up to the Mac Mini, because the Mac Mini's only got 500 gigs on it internal. She's running 16 gigs of RAM, so she's nothing special. It was just a $180 eBay purchase a couple of years back, just as something to run in the workshop, so I could have YouTube running, could listen to audio, music, whatever I really wanted. But it's now become my primary source for editing, as I say, my Mac Pro Towers, which are the 2006, one of the originals, has finally died. It will not boot, no matter what I do. I've taken the RAM out, changed the hard drives around, she will not boot. She just briefly lights up the white light and then turns straight off again. So I've had a good run out of her. So I've had her since 2009, and so there's been a few years. So, well, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. A very simple light for over the top of it, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you. Bye.